Good morning. My name is Ugo and I'm a life coach. You are on to productive parenting. Our focus is trying to get parents to be the best kind of parents that they can be. The family being the foundational unit of every society needs to be properly groomed and prepared to bring forth children who can leave a better legacy for the society at large. The majority of the problems we have in the society find their roots in parents who didn't do their job well. If we have bad politicians, we have um, criminals and a lot of degenerates in the society. They begin from the home. So planning to be a productive parent actually starts from the home. How the society is going to end up starts from the home, and that's what the channel is all about. Um, Giving parents the skills they need to produce children that will make the world better than they made them. In order to be a good parent, you have to begin from the basics. Um, you have to ask yourself certain questions ever before you start having children. You don't start being a good parent after you've had children. It actually starts before you've had children. While you are expecting or planning to have children, you have some questions you have to ask yourself. You have to ask yourself, how many children do I want to have, for instance? That will affect how those children are raised. The normal practice is that when children are too much, the parents has less resources, less time to bring them up. So you might want to think of not having too much, especially when you don't have a support group to help you with the parenting. You have to ask yourself about your finances. Are you ready financially for a child or for children? What is your job like? What is the job of your partner like? Do you even have a partner? Because productive parenting can also be something you do with single parents. Sometimes you may be a single parent, you have to take that into consideration ever before you even get pregnant. Um, what are the resources available? What is your support group like? Here in Africa, we live with extended family because they are needed to be able to raise children. You have to ask yourself, are your parents alive? Are your uncles or your aunties available to give moral instruction? What is the environment like? Are you living in a highbrow environment or in a ghetto? And how can you use these environments to work for you while you are training your child? You need to take all these things into consideration. How much knowledge do you have about antenatal practices, postnatal practices? Do you have enough knowledge that will help you to go through it sufficiently so you can begin well with raising the child? These are questions you need to ask yourself and you must answer honestly. Um, Jumping into parenting is one of the reasons why parenting becomes difficult, why we have children who do not meet up with the what is needed, what is required by the society, by every good society from children. So you have to ask yourself, are you prepared financially, emotionally, and even spiritually? Every child needs a spiritual environment, a good spiritual environment to grow in. Even when you are an atheist, there's still a spiritual environment that a child needs in order to be able to grow productively. We'll talk about that in later chapters. So you have to ask yourself, am I prepared to have children? Is your partner prepared? Sometimes people have children and only one partner is prepared. Only one partner wants the child. Maybe things you need to consider if it is wise to have a child when your partner is not ready. Because when they are not ready, they will not be able to participate the way they are supposed to participate in the upbringing of the child productively. So you have to ask yourself a lot of questions. How far is the nearest hospital to you? How far is the nearest school to you? To the place where you want to start raising children? How near are your grandparents in case they are needed to help with moral instruction or babysitting? These are things you have to ask yourself. What is your own moral background? You know, how much do you love yourself is also an important question to ask yourself. A person who does not love themselves cannot love a child. You have to ask yourself honestly. You may need professional evaluation for this too. If you are emotionally or psychologically stable enough to have children, if you have any mental issues, you may not be qualified to have children, no matter how much you want to have them. You have to ask yourself, how prepared am I? What do I have to give to a child? If you have been evaluated psychologically to be a violent person, for instance, you may not have what you need, what you require to give a child a productive life. So these are the things we need to put into consideration. We shall be looking at a lot of this in later chapters. But the plan is not to make videos too long. So we are going to be ending this with today's thought is before you start having children, assuming you have not started yet, you have to be prepared. You have to ask yourself serious questions that will affect both you and the child and the society at large, bearing in mind that every child that a person has is going to be part of a society tomorrow. And whether you are going to be productive members of that society depends on you as a parent. We'll stop there for today. In subsequent videos, we'll be seeing how you can actually plan for a child. Thank you.